Hello and welcome to a Run Forest Shoe Waffle. So it's been a long time coming, but I'm going to do a little bit of review on my experience in the Cloud Eclipse. So as you can see here, the one in my right hand, possibly looking like left hand on video, is a new version of the shoe, and these are my now 480 kilometer version in my hand. So over the course of the last 5 weeks, I've run, I say, just short of 500k in these now, and I've got to say it's been a really good shoe. So a little bit on tech specs to start off with. This is a 6mm drop high stack shoe with a big 4-foot rocker in there. You can see this profile at the front here is super fast, so that toe off feels really nice. Now, of course, this is my review, not anybody else's review, so please don't take this as gospel. Go and buy a pair, then hate them. This is where shoe fitting at runforestrunshop.co.uk comes in and allows us to check everything out in terms of each individual person for each shoe. So not a reflection of how it will run for you, more about my thoughts on it. Anyway, so let me talk you through the first few runs. So put these on, I was suffering with a little bit of potential tib post discomfort, and this shoe, inner fitting on myself, made the whole sort of symptoms really die down. With that big 4-foot rocker, it just seemed to just toe me off nicely and just take that load out of that sort of calf, Achilles, tib post sort of area. Cushioning wise, so cushioning, as you can tell, is really big. Now, I've run previously in the Surfer. The Surfer's very squishy, these are very bouncy, so quite a different sort of sensation in terms of the ride. The Eclipse is say a 6mm heel to toe drop with this plate in the middle as well, so you can see this this shanked plate here is quite sort of low slung in the shoe, so it does hit the gravel, and the grit on the pavement makes quite a lot of noise to start off with, but it doesn't squeak. So what can I tell you about the shoe? So starting off with this first couple of runs, just with this little bit of a minor niggle in my foot wasn't landing. I found them a little bit flat to begin with, so almost disappointingly flat. I thought I'd get much more bounce out of the cushion than what I did. But that said, as soon as I'd got about 10-15 miles into them in total, the shoe transformed. It became very compliant. The torsional stiffness seemed to dial itself back, and and that sort of stiffness down the length of the shoe, as you can probably tell here, has stayed throughout. But it just seemed to, I think, soften the plate and just make it feel a lot smoother through that gait cycle. So one thing I've been really impressed with these, once I'd sort of broken the back of them, I just found that the cushioning became much softer, much sort of nicer to run in than anything I've had for a long time. So just coming out of a set of Hoka Mach 5s on my feet. There you go, there's the flexibility if I run right there. So Mach 5s, I always found these to be really lively, and this sort of just enhanced that little bit of a bounce over the Max. In terms of this and the Surfer's a very different ride. It's very sort of, it rolls very much through from heel to toe. This one just seems to pitch you up and off the front of the shoe a little bit differently. So I would definitely say a shoe that feels a little bit faster, a little bit more lively. When you get up to pace in these, they seem to turn over really nicely. So in terms of stability, I'm very neutral in my running. I don't suffer with any pronation, and in terms of fitting, we've seen these work equally well and equally badly for people as we do with everything. So hence why the fitting is so important. But the general sort of stiffness in the shoe just feels really sort of planted. It's not sort of wishy-washy and vague in terms of cushioning, and I think that's where this shoe, and certainly cushion shoes up and down the country now, are starting to really harness this cushioning to make it feel good. So long-term review, literally not had a bad run in them. Outside of that first 10 miles, once the injury had, that little niggle had disappeared, everything has been absolutely plain sailing since, and I've got to say, always been super comfy on the feet. So this upper, you can see, really sort of compliant again, very sort of unstructured in terms of no hard sort of plastic bits. The overlays are these stitched in bits here, and the tongue's quite thin. This bar up on the top of the shoe here really pulls those laces in all together. So again, super impressed with that. Rubber compound, again, can't fault it. I think the way that traction works against wet ground is brill. I just think it's got really good cornering abilities. It doesn't feel quite as wobbly as the Surfer. So in terms of that sort of sure-footedness, that's worked really well as well. So road to gravel, I've had this up and down the Monsell Trail a fair bit. I've done stuff on Cromford Canal, as you can probably tell, with the mucky bits, and I've just found it, absorbs those little bits of knobbly stones. Doesn't seem to give you any issues in terms of standing on a bigger one or a sharper one. So plenty of protection there. One thing that I can categorically say now with these, so in just short of 500 kilometers, I have had 0 stone stuck in the bottom of them. So the stone channel, as you can see here, is pretty much gone now. So it's just a small divot. It's got these little raised bits here, and here. You can probably see with the mud in these, and that stops any stones getting in. The rear channel is still a little bit bigger, but as you can see, it's got all these little strategically placed knobbles, and it's not super big. So if I've had anything stick in there, it's come out without me even noticing. So well done On, you've sorted that one out. It is cloud phase, so it's got the sequentially collapsing shoes that we saw for the first time in the Surfer. So these are designed to completely collapse out, and unlike the earlier Surfers, we're not suffering with any squeaking, or I'm not suffering with any squeaking in these. We've not had lots of feedback about them squeaking, so that's another really big positive. So in terms of the wear rate, I would normally retire a shoe at 500 kilometers. So this is technically today, tomorrow should see the back out of this shoe normally for me, but it feels great. It still feels really soft, really bouncy. It doesn't feel like it's dulled off at all. The wear, as you can see here, so if I just grab a fresh one so you can go side by side. So I'm starting to just wear that down now. But if you look on the insides, obviously again my strike may be different to other people's, and you look at that toe area, you can see very much wearing really well. I think I'm going to try and take this shoe possibly up to the 550, 600 kilometer mark, which I've not done with a shoe for a long time. So all in all, super comfortable, super soft, nice and responsive, hold pace really well, great for the long runs. So the longest run I've done in these is just shy of 22 miles, so 35 and a bit K. And I've really not got a bad word to say against them. I've just put some Sidas insoles in just recently, because I just felt the insole was just getting a little bit thin under my foot, but that's my sensitive feet, and a little bit of plantar in the right foot is just being looked after by that Sidas insole. But up until literally 45-50k ago, I've been running without insoles, without any dramas at all. So well done On, cracking shoe. I think I'll be having another pair. Enjoy yourselves, but don't forget, this is me reviewing this shoe with me, not a shoe fit. Enjoy yourselves. See you later.